Before we dive into cars today, I want to take a moment to talk about your face. You need to shave, and we're here to help. We've teamed up with Dollar Shave Club because they've got some kick-ass products that'll give your face an aerodynamic upgrade. First up is the 4X razor. It's a high-quality razor handle that comes with 4 blades each month, and it's fucking great. Don't believe me? See what I mean? $6 per month will put this Dollar Shave goodness right in your mailbox. Are you cheaper than a cheap bastard? Well, maybe you're not so hairy and you can opt for the not so hairy plan. Brilliantly named. This changes from every month to every other month and saves you money. Want to ball out? Step up to the executive razor blade. Instead of 4 blades on the end of your razor, you get 2 more, that's 6. 2 more equals 2 more shaving better. I don't know, I'm not a goddamn face scientist. Looking to get in on the action? Go to dollarshaveclub.com/Hooniverse. This logo right here, it should pop up neatly, hopefully. Go there, start shaving time, shaving money, and shaving your face. That's the whole, it's just shaving pun. Shave your face, whatever. Go there, do your thing, dollarshaveclub.com/Hooniverse. Enough about that, let's get on to some cars.
If you love cars, there's sure to be a few vehicles on your list of must-haves that are considered guilty pleasure vehicles. You shouldn't love them, but you do. For me, one of those cars has always been the last generation Cadillac Escalade. It's a big, lumbering, not as luxurious as it should be based on its price tag, full-size SUV of a machine that I would never want to put in my garage, but anytime I drive one, I love it. Now, there's a new one. This is the 4th generation 2015 Cadillac Escalade, and I'm curious if it will satisfy those same ill-gotten urges as the car before it. Based on early looks, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. And a big vehicle needs a big engine. Of course, there's no surprises under the hood. This is a 6.2-liter V8. It makes 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. So it's a little bit better than the outgoing motor, but it's also a little bit more efficient. Cadillac rates this to hit 21 miles per gallon on the highway and around 14 in the city. That's not great, but it's good when the vehicle is as big as this vehicle is. I've been driving with a bit of a lead foot because this vehicle is capable of going 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds, which is incredibly fast in what is essentially an Amtrak train. So I've been seeing combined fuel economy around 13 miles per gallon. Again, like I said, lead foot, but there are some neat tricks to help you if you don't have a lead foot. If you're light on the throttle, you can get this engine to kick down into just running on 4 cylinders, which helps propel it along. Once it's moving, that's enough to keep it going and to keep it drinking fuel at a little lower rate. So the Escalade, as I said, has been a guilty pleasure vehicle of mine. I shouldn't like it, but I do. The last gen car was overpriced, the interior was okay, because GM was still figuring out how to do a good interior, but the engine was stout, it looked great parked by the curb, as long as it didn't have massively donked wheels on it and ultra low profile tires. There's something, you know, there's nice about seeing an Escalade slinking through traffic. They have a presence to them. Personally, if I was going to spend money in the full-size luxury SUV segment, you know, I'd opt for a Yukon Denali, which is basically an Escalade without all the extra crap on it. Additionally, I'd look at the Audi Q7, and then I'd even consider the Infiniti QX, whatever the heck it's called now, the big dog one. Even though some people hate the looks, the engine's fantastic, the seats are wonderful, and it's nice to drive. So the Escalade was always, you know, the choice if you're just throwing money at the car and you didn't really care that it definitely wasn't a luxury car inside, even though you just paid luxury car dollars. That's changed. It's not like that anymore. The quality of the wood in here seems nice. The seats are excellent. The Q system has been, it appears to be upgraded because it's much more responsive to the touch. The haptic feedback is wonderful. Now you've got these great TFT gauges in the gauge cluster, which you can configure to show as much or as little information as you desire. The heads-up display is clear and easy to read. There's a lot going on here that leads me to believe that I will also be considering this as another guilty pleasure vehicle, but it might not be a guilty pleasure vehicle anymore. It might just be a car that's good. Cadillac has done a good job of blending two things that are seemingly different. They use the terms art and science. Art is great, science is great, and now Cadillac proves that when you put the two together, it's greater, I guess. But they've been proving that for a while now. The ATS, the CTS, you know, everybody's been excited with what they've been offering. Finally, the Escalade catches up to the rest of the family. It looks as good as all those other cars, and it's art and science design language on a much grander scale. That face is in your face. The lighting front and rear is excellent. Those skyscraper taillights just illuminate the night in the best way possible, in a very artistic way, using science with LEDs, full LED headlights too. So pair all that with a great motor, that 6.2 liter V8 loves to go when you stomp on the gas like I'm about to do leaving this stoplight. It sounds good, it picks up quickly, and 0 to 60 time in just under 6 seconds, that's crazy. This is a huge vehicle. Full-size SUVs are giants out on the road. You know, we all love small sports cars, sporty wagons, and then the general public loves compact crossovers. This is none of that. Though it has the speed and power that you'd hope a vehicle like this would have, it creates a commanding presence, and you feel like you're in control in this seat up front. You'd probably feel very comfortable in those captain's chairs in the second row, and then in the third row, all the way back, there is room for a full-size adult. And I am a full-size adult, and I've sat there, and I'm fine. So everybody's going to be comfortable, the driver's going to be happy, you're going to be rewarded with the wonderful driving experience, and you should be, because you just shelled out a ton of money. The last Escalade I drove years ago that created this guilty pleasure thought in my head was a platinum hybrid Escalade. It was just under $100,000, which is tons of money for an Escalade, especially a last gen car. This car I'm driving right now is $80,000, just under $80,000, and it's got a lot of boxes ticked. You know, I have the cooled seat going, there's rear climate control, it's tri-zone climate control, it's got the Bose center point audio system, which is good. It's a little bass heavy, crank the treble up a little bit to even it out. I wish it was a little bit more balanced, but Bose always goes a bit bass heavy, but bass suits this vehicle, so there's an argument to be made in that case. It's a decent sound system. Everything else around me is upgraded. There's touches of suede, there's wonderful materials. Nothing in here feels chintzy, and that's a huge step forward for the Escalade, and it helps justify that $80,000 price tag. Now, would I recommend this car to someone who were in the market? That's a tougher question. I believe I would if they wanted a full-size, luxurious SUV and they didn't like diesel. This feels bigger than an Audi Q7, but I love the Audi Q7, especially with the TDI, and it could be had for significantly less than this car. This is a step up though. There is more room in here. There's a much bigger, more powerful engine, but it's just as luxurious, even though this feels a bit classier now. You know, you can look at other vehicles like that Infiniti I mentioned. I'd probably honestly go with this over the Infiniti. It's just so much better looking. And that matters to people in this segment because they've basically bought a giant fashion statement. So when they pull up to wherever they're going to dinner that night, and if they've just spent $80,000 on a vehicle they can afford to eat well, they're also going to look well when they pull up to the curb. I don't even know if that last sentence made sense grammatically, but who cares, because I'm comfortable with my cooled seat on in my Escalade. Another great benefit of this current generation Escalade, this new generation, is that it comes standard with General Motors magnetic ride control. Those of you who are fans of the Corvette will know exactly what that is. Basically, it's a magno-ferrous liquid that controls the damping of the suspension, and it makes for a wonderful ride quality. That's what we have here. This thing glides down the road. Now, it is a two-mode system, so you can put it into sport like I've done, and it stiffens it up a little bit. So it doesn't soak up the bumps as nicely, but it does remain a little bit flatter when you throw this thing through a corner. And I'm not throwing it, I just mean you know, casually meandering around a turn. There's no throwing an Escalade into a corner. If you do that, you are going to roll the Escalade into the corner. Not that this feels top heavy. The brakes are excellent. There's plenty of stopping power there, so I never worry about the traffic in front of me, but if I'm not paying attention, there's all kinds of forward collision warnings. This car has all the latest safety features, so you are getting bang for your buck, finally, in the land of the Escalade. It's a really nice Volkswagen bus in front of us. Cool.